good.
All right, let's call the Park and Rec Board meeting of April 10th to order at 6:29. Are you going to do the roll call?
I'll do the roll call. All right, Scott,
Here.
Foster,
Present.
Sandy,
Here.
John,
Here.
Jim's not here, Mary,
Here.
Ava,
Here.
Margaret,
Here.
and Vicky.
Thank you.
Good.
Awesome. I think we're all kind of taking a glance at the March 13th minutes. Guess we could entertain a motion to approve those March 13th, 2025 minutes as written.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, do we see anything discussion-wise or updates that we need to make? We must have talked a lot. There's a lot of 3 pages.
Yeah.
Which you missed. Did anybody see anything?
No, we didn't.
Look good. All right, I guess you could do all those in favor can say aye.
Aye.
Does anybody abstain? Anybody not approve them? All right, we can consider the March 2025 meetings approved, and we don't have any public today, so I like that. So shall we move to general business? And is that gonna be, are you gonna get us started?
I'll take a stab at it for you.
All right.
So yes, you have the items that are listed here for the general business. I'm going to give you some updates after we get through these 3 topics, just so that you have the opportunity to hear what we've been working on since the last time you met with Josh, where I was absent from that meeting. So farmers market, I don't know if Josh had the opportunity to give you an update, but he's still working with the farmers market vendors, and they are very much interested in adding a few Saturday markets, specifically in the summer months. And so right now that is a work in progress in terms of identifying how many additional vendors would be there on Saturdays. He's not really interested in pursuing that effort if there are only a couple of vendors. So they're still working out those details, but tentatively right now he's been in communications with them, and that sounds like something that they would like to explore and see if the community likes, which is across the street here from City Hall. While it's not necessarily a park activity, it is in the downtown near the park, and it creates kind of vibrancy, so I thought you'd appreciate having an update on that.
Maybe the possibility of prepaid Saturdays on the vendors.
Currently that's how the farmers market works, and all vendors have to pay to participate, and they select what days they're going to be there, whether it be specifically just Fridays, or if they're going to do Friday and Saturday. So that is something that is a requirement right now.
And perhaps worth their while if they should pay the whole summer or the whole schedule.
That's how it's designed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yep.
Is there a midweek, like a Tuesday or Wednesday one this year, or no?
No, they stopped doing the Tuesdays last year. They found that it was proving to be unsuccessful, and the vendors were losing product and revenue. So they focused primarily on Fridays.
They're a highlight. They're pretty fun.
Okay. North End Park Pavilion, give you an update on that. Friday, the electric will be connected to the restroom facility, and then that will give us an opportunity to be in communications with the well driller. Then they can go ahead and finalize connecting the water to the facility. They'll have to chlorinate the system, and then we have to have our water distribution or water operators go and do a back-tea sample, which requires a 24-hour waiting period to verify that the water is suitable to the health department and the Eagles drinking requirements. Once that's cleared, then we'll be able to officially open up the restroom for the season. Most of the restrooms will be probably opening near the mid-May timeframe. Just because we want to make sure that we're not going to run into any issues with frost in the evenings, what have you. But we're hoping to be right on schedule with that same kind of time frame as what we do with Mitchell Creek and Hemlock Park and Winkellum.
Are there the same bathrooms installed in Depot Park?
Those are.
I call it Depot.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
What else?
Those restroom facilities, they're supposed to be open near the end of May. The whole project should be done. So once the project is completed, then they'll be able to utilize the facilities. But they are located inside the pavilion. If you see the back structure there, that's underneath the pavilion. Those are the two restrooms in the mechanical room.
Are they gonna use the Depot building itself?
The owners have been working with Epstein Cycles. Currently, the manager has been in the facility. They have been gearing up for a soft opening that should be happening tentatively this month, I believe. It may not be
Yes.
this month if
Yeah.
they're not prepared, but they're going to do a soft opening. So they're in there right now, and they are going to have a bicycle shop.
Great.
They were excited about it. I was up there in Cadillac looking for a bike, and they're like, "Well, if you wait, you might be able to get one right there in Big Rapids." It's the Traverse City brand that
Yeah, it's
TC to
Einstein Cycles. Yep.
Yep.
North End bathroom. Could we at least put on the record that I would still continue to encourage us to keep one porta-john there, whether that be for nighttime use if the one's gonna get locked up, or for this extended season. I know you used to have 3, I think now there's 2 there. I just used one last week when I was out there. But appreciate the outhouse, and I'm just thinking because of that time thing, it might be easiest just to kind of keep one of them in place if you can. I know the public would appreciate that, year-round access to portable bathroom, but that's just that discussion that you guys have
Yeah.
to continue to have.
I can share that with the city manager, by all means. Any other questions about the North End? Okay. The other aspect about North End Park that I also wanted to touch base was also specifically the pavilion. So we will be working with the Ferris State University construction management students. They have a club, and they have expressed interest in working with city staff, where they will be designing a pavilion for the disc golf course located at North End Park. And they will be meeting with us next week, where we will identify the design that they would like to propose and what materials it would be needed to build the structure, which they will do themselves, similar to what we experienced at the dog park with the enclosed structure in the large dog park area. That was another one of their projects that they did. So we're tentatively planning on having them plan to put the building or the pavilion up in the fall of this year. That'll be one of their projects. So as we get through closer to the summer and they start to return back onto campus, we'll have a better idea as to what their timeline looks like to build that structure. But it'll be a good project with a partnership with Ferris students. So we're looking forward to that.
Do you recall the name of the RSO, or the student organization that was gonna work with you guys?
No.
No, but it's somewhere in the construction management general.
Yeah, I mean, I can share with you that information when I get back to the office tomorrow. We did work with them, but it's not right there at the tip
Not
of my.
urgent. It just was, it's nice to see when groups are actually.
Yeah, we're looking forward to working with them.
Awesome.
The next item listed here is park hours. There was a discussion in regards to what the hours should be posted for signage. And it was determined that the appropriate hours to be posted are amongst the policy the Park and Rec Board approved in 2015, which is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you'll see this is kind of like an extra thing, and I'll just kind of start going through my extra notes that I was going to share information on. But I have given you pictures of different signs that have been ordered. There's 3 documents there. The first one will show you the park entrance sign for Hemlock Park, and it notes the park hours. Currently, when you enter into Hemlock Park, you will see before you get to the restrooms on the right-hand side, there's a wood sign that says Hemlock Park, and it has the hours listed and a couple other signs attached to it. So we needed to recognize those that were substantial donors to the park project, and so that's the reasoning for the logos that are on the sign. Steve assisted and really took the lead near the end of the project, so he can add some comments to it. But there's also the splash pad park sign you'll see there, and we have that on order as well. Mr. Coles had the opportunity to make changes, and he was working with a graphic design artist, and so both of those signs have been ordered, and they are planned to be up by the time that we have a ribbon cutting, so everyone is recognized appropriately. And then the third sign you'll see is the Depot Park sign, and that will be placed on the facility itself. So when people come from the White Pine Trail, or they park at the park and then they come to the pavilion, they can orient themselves in terms of where they are to get to downtown, how they could get to the Riverwalk, how they could utilize the White Pine Trail. It's a similar design to what you see currently at North End Park, different color scheme, but the concept's the same, where at North End Park there are 2 trail connectors that go from the White Pine Trail to the Riverwalk, and one's on the south end of North End Park, the other one's on the north end of North End Park, and it's the same concept. Different pictures for the depot, just kind of make it more vibrant and get people excited to come to downtown to see the farmers market, see the activities that are available in the Big Rapids area. And so that's the concept behind that. But if you have questions about any of those signs, I'm sure Steve would be happy to answer them.
Signs are pretty nice looking.
You said these have already been ordered?
Correct.
This isn't a question specifically about these signs, but it's kind of relevant. Last month, Josh said that John Coles was requesting the names of the donors that donated more than $15,000 to have their names placed on the slab behind the wall, or on the wall behind the bridge.
Correct.
And we just asked that the individuals might be, I think, named before businesses. And I was curious if you could, is there an update on that at all? Like,
Sure. So I have been away for up until this past week. I returned, but prior to me leaving, I had been in communications with an engraver. There was a gentleman that used to work in Reed City, and then he moved to Grand Rapids, and he committed to coming back to engrave onto the donor wall because he's familiar with it and he's done it. Right before I left, he did not want to have that commitment any longer. So I identified with Mr. Coles, another company out of Grand Rapids. They gave me an estimate, and it was inflated, one would say. So we're still exploring how we can get that accomplished. We may have to look at what you see right now at the donor wall, which makes sense why it's currently the way it's designed, where you can see bronze plaques where recognition was given on the donor slab that's closest to the south part of the donor wall itself, rather than engraving. So we're still exploring, but I did see your comments, and that will definitely be taken into consideration, and we'll bring that information to you by all means.
like there's got to be like an engraver for like all the gravestones, right?
Yeah, but you bring gravestones to them, and they don't go to the gravestone. That's the tricky thing.
Alright.
Well,
They
I
don't,
never
they don't
thought
go
I'd
up to
learn
the
so much about
graveyard,
gravestones.
stone in place and fizzle away like on the Flintstones?
What's that?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do what?
They travel to.
I know they do, but the companies that I've been talking to, they're not interested in coming up here.
Not this is printing.
Correct.
Will this sign, that particular one that's awful small writing for me to see it, does that have the, rules of our park in it?
No,
Alcohol, marijuana, what have you?
no. So what, in regards to the ordinances that, which is what you're referencing to, those would be ordinance signs that would be posted at the park entrance.
The same signs that are there now.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah. There are rule signs that have been fabricated. They're in our office right now. We're gonna just install them all at the same time for the splash pad that you all had approved along with the city commission as well as for the skate park. So that's about signs. Signs is kind of taking up some time for us.
Are they taking up a lot of budget too, though?
No, not really. Nothing unreasonable by any means.
Awesome.
And so it'll just be a nice addition to everything.
When the signs leave your office, is your office gonna be like lawless now that you don't have rules?
I'm sure somebody will want some other signs. On to the next items I wanted to just give you an update on. So we have a commission meeting coming up on the 21st, and you had, as a board, made a recommendation to have the Hemlock Park Committee be recognized for the Citizen Recognition Award. I will be in communications with Mr. Coles, identify who, in addition to himself, should be a part of that recognition in terms of the committee. And then I will send a notification to them, invite them to the commission meeting, and I would like to extend that invitation to you as well if you're available. I'm sure they would appreciate your support. You've been giving them support now for, I think we're going on possibly 4 years at this point with the project, so it's been a long time, but it's been well worth it. As a side note, I'd also like to let you know that we received notification that the city will be recognized at the APWA conference for Quality of Life award for a project that's between $3 to $5 million. So we will be going to that to get the plaque and recognition at that one. We just received notification that we also are going to be given recognition from the American Society of Civil Engineers, and that'll be in Lansing, same kind of award, quality of life. And so the city will be getting recognition for that as well. And that'll be taking place during the month of May. So when we receive those plaques, I'll bring them in and I'll let you see what that looks like. But it's a big project, and I think it's great that it's being recognized by the state and our colleagues that they think it was an important project.
Congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Do you think
it is cool.
do you think you'll probably post one or two of them in the city hall somewhere, or or with your staff?
If you ever want to see all of the Public Works awards, please feel free to come to my conference room because that's where they're all at. So
You should get like on the back of your hoodie or something.
yeah.
You know?
They actually have
Yeah.
Well, if you guys end up having another pool meeting or something else, that's where it'll probably happen. So
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just
for sure.
order a subcommittee meeting and
There you go.
hang out with the awards.
What day did you say you said that you were encouraging us to attend the
April
Commission.
21st,
21st? It's
Correct.
here at
here in the commission room at 6:30. And then we have just a couple more topics I wanted to bring to your attention. I know you're fully aware, but just a reminder, May 24th is the Hemlock Park ribbon cutting at 11 a.m. It commences at 11 a.m. I believe the ribbon cutting's at 11:30 is what Steve
The ribbon
told me.
cutting's at 11.
The ribbon cutting, okay, I stand corrected, 11.
It's at what
It's at
11
11.
a.m.
We'll have another meeting
Yes,
before then.
correct.
Yeah.
And I'll give you another reminder,
Good.
all right?
I'm going to send all of you invitations.
Okay.
I think Lake Tahoe's gonna win out for me. I'm gonna be
Fair
over
enough.
there,
Fair enough,
Fair
Scott.
enough.
climbing in the mountains, doing conference stuff, so
Good
that
for
one
you.
I haven't unfortunately will miss.
We have two other ribbon cuttings that we'll be giving you reminders on, but just to put on your radar. The depot is a grant-funded project, so again, we'll have to do, I don't want to say have to do, but we're going to do a ribbon cutting for that park, and that is slated for the end of May, beginning of June. So as long as they stay on schedule, we should be planning to do that this late spring. And then the skate park will be having the apparatuses installed in mid-June. Hopefully with them meeting their completion date of, I believe it's like June 19th or something like that. And then we will be coordinating, Steve will be coordinating a ribbon cutting, and that'll be hopefully the end of June, but him and I are in agreement that we want to stay away from the week of 4th of July. So we're going to be conscientious of that holiday and move forward with the ribbon cutting for there.
Speaking of the skate park, at least twice now, I've been driving across the bridge and have seen like very small dirt bikes driving from like the Toyoga area, like toward the skate park. And I'm kind of like, are they going to the skate park? Are they going down the river walk? Like, are they going to the disc golf course? Because I've seen evidence on the disc golf course and seen people on gas-powered vehicles there in the past. I'm just kind of like, is the city aware of this?
We are. One of the ways that we were trying to hinder that type of activity, specifically going up to the disc golf course as you are entering into the North End Park on the west side, you'll see boulders that we strategically placed to deter them, and it seemed to work. But
Yeah, in that one area, but
Correct.
then they like,
and they find another spot, so we're just chasing them. But public safety ordered and has been using a side-by-side to monitor the White Pine Trail as well as the Riverwalk, and they are aware of that activity.
I figured, I just wanted to touch base and
Yeah.
like make sure. I'm like, we've waited so long for this skate park.
Right.
Like, it is gonna kill me if like one or two kids on a dirt bike are like trashing it before
Sure.
the equipment even gets installed.
Oh, that's a
So I've
valid
seen people
concern.
skating there already. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's awesome.
Yeah. As have I. As have I.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to touch base with you on, and then afterwards, I'm happy to answer any additional questions or comments or that you may have, is our next meeting. I want you to think about who would be interested in being a chair, as Scott will be termed out, and Margaret will be termed out as well. So we will definitely need some extra people that are interested in volunteering their time. And so if you know anybody, please have them come to the clerk's office and fill out an interest indicator. Or if they can't make it to City Hall during business hours, it's available online and it'll go directly to the city clerk. We're always hoping to have a full board that makes things that much more easier for those that have schedules and they can't make it. And then you always can ensure that I have a quorum. So other than that, that's all I had to update you on.
I may have somebody that's
Good.
interesting that would bring quite a different perspective than I had, but we'll see if I can kind of encourage that and get the forum over to that person and see if could do that.
Good, please do.
When are you gonna, and I'm sure that you told me 2 months ago, but I don't remember, when are you gonna start doing stuff at the pool?
You mean in regards to opening up for the season?
Yeah, well, you know, like the one, I'm gonna say, one place you're tearing down and everything, are you gonna do some of that this year?
I apologize. What are you regarding to tearing
I'm
down?
talking about the shed.
Yeah, the shed at the pool that's not at the pool, it's a building, it's a brown building, I'm sorry, it's a brown building that you're gonna tear it down and.
Oh, the cinder block
Yeah,
garage? Okay.
yeah.
So right now we have the grant application submitted and that activity won't take place until we know if we have been awarded the project.
Okay, thank you.
And then that would likely take place later this year, fall timeframe to do the outdoor
Yeah,
area.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I just have one thing that's less a question and more maybe a encouragement or a call to action for the board as they go forward. When you look at the roles of the board, we've done such a phenomenal job, like building new parks, you know, improving the parks that we have, making accessibility. One of the things that's also within the board's kind of authority or purview are both the trees on the park grounds, but also, as we've talked about a time or two before, the tree plantings that Heather's done a wonderful job, you know, working with the city to do that. And so if you see in the future an area for engagement and improvement she's been able to provide, and I dug through the really impressive, like Davy Tree Service or whatever, had a heck of a inventory of pretty much every street tree that's on the easements. But again, you know, I think with things like changing climate and pulling down sometimes more trees than we can put up, there's a lot that we could do. And maybe when you guys look at the different parks, there might be needs in the parks that way as well too. Because I don't know how much tree planting really tends to happen in the parks. I mean, the Riverwalk really did a phenomenal, you had a good project there, but that could be something, you know, just to keep in mind that that's part of the board's purview.
Yeah, we try to plant as many trees as we can in the parks, but being conscientious of the parks budget at the same time. So we were very lucky that the Hemlock Park project had trees included in the park plan, and so that's why you see in that open area nearby the pavilion on the south side that there's new trees that have been planted. We are very successful with grant applications for planting trees specifically in the right of way. But by all means, we definitely are dedicated to planting trees as much as possible because you are correct. It seems like you're removing more than you're planting, unfortunately. And they take a long time to get to the age where people, or the size that people can really appreciate them.
They took down the one right in front of my house.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. But I know it was rotten in the top.
Yeah.
But I gotta put something back in there, you know?
Yeah, well, let me know. Get in contact with me.
Well, it's nice to see things like maples and empty spaces being replaced with oaks, including more dry adapted oaks, because that's the problem, is that it's a 1900s tree canopy, both in date and in composition, and the change in climate just isn't really supporting those long winter trees that we're here. And so, you know, maybe hickories and some of the dry adapted oaks and tulip poplars and other things. And I'm sure Davey or whoever you guys work with is probably suggesting, you guys have tried to avoid planting maple trees, if I recall.
Correct. Maple trees and Cleveland pears are no longer on my list to plant any longer.
Maybe someday Ferris will figure that out too. Those are those really stinky pear trees that look
Yes,
pretty
they're
around commencement. Yeah, and they're invasive and they sucker. So that's a good call.
We
For
care about our
trees.
trees.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's the only thing I had. Just was a suggestion.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come this evening. Apologize that it wasn't a very long and extensive agenda, but appreciate your time.
Cool. Shall we call the meeting adjourned before 7 o'clock? That would be great. Do that at 6:58. There we go. Those are great times, Heather. Got good company, it looks like, to work with.
What kind of trees you want to put in there?
It's nice when you see